Hi, welcome to our second On Principle episode. Recently, I was very fortunate to work with two very different management teams. Both were strategic planning sessions. Both companies were also financially high performers. However, that's where the similarities ended. Let's call them Company A and Company B. As we started the session, Company A was an open book. The management team members were honest, candid, challenged each other in productive ways. They expressed their opinions openly, firmly, and with conviction, even when they were diametrically opposed and disagreed. Nobody was pulling any punches. There was conflict, and lots of it, but it was productive. The energy was positive, and when a decision was made, it was clear that they were a team on the same side. Company B, on the other hand, was a different story. From the start, you could feel the tension in the room, particularly between two of the team's members. There were hints at deep differences and unresolved issues. They tended to dance around disagreements, careful not to offend. The tension was palpable. You could feel it. It was obvious something else was going on. To be an effective leader, it's critical that you build, develop, and sustain a high-performance leadership team. Your leaders set the tone. We know from research that 50 to 70% of the climate and culture of your organization is directly related to the actions of its leaders. In this On Principle episode, we'll take a quick look at the 5 factors of high-performing leadership and management teams. These are the areas in which the best team leaders focus their energy. First, a strong team must have a clear purpose with related goals. We recommend that these are written so there's complete clarity. Many teams are good at keeping track of goals related to the numbers, but what about your company's purpose beyond making money? Can you define that right now? If not, you need to start there. You need to have financial and non-financial goals. This sets the stage for the team to know whether they are winning or losing. The second part of having a clear purpose is to establish how the team works together. This is typically accomplished by identifying the 3 to 5 values that should guide the team and company behavior. In our example earlier, Company A and Company B were both actually pretty strong here. Our second factor is about accountability. High-performing leadership teams must be accountable to each other and accountable to the results they're seeking. They should also be accountable to the company's values that they've agreed to operate by. If you aren't serious about any of those accountabilities, your team will almost always underperform. Therefore, your job as a leader is to hold yourself and others accountable first to the team and company's values, and then to the results it's seeking. You must take corrective action if anyone is outside the lines. Here is where our case study got interesting. The management teams at Company A and B were similar with regards to holding their staff accountable, but it was a different story when holding each other accountable on the management team. Ironically, it was actually their respect for each other that was interfering with this. They were too concerned about stepping on each other's toes, but didn't know how to address a few of the tough issues that they had between each other without creating unresolvable conflict. This leads directly into our third high-performance management team factor: effective communication. We could spend the next hour on this, but I'm going to simplify this one for now. Our teams need to communicate in ways that achieve 2 outcomes. The first is that our communication needs to lead to successful results. The second is that our communication needs to lead to satisfying interpersonal interactions and commitments. If we're not achieving either of those, our communication practices need to be improved. Our 2 company leadership teams here also differed significantly. So, how are you doing so far? We've got 2 more factors to go. Let's take a look. Our fourth high-performing team factor is all about effective decision-making and problem-solving. And here are a few additional questions to answer before you respond. Does your team effectively prioritize decisions? Are they committed, all committed to the decisions that are made? Do they consider multiple options before moving forward? Do they prioritize higher impact decisions and actions over lower impact ones? Our last high-performing management team factor is closely related to and intimately tied to all of the previous ones. Here we need to make sure we're conscious of, leverage, and celebrate each team member's strengths and contributions. Does each team member respect and value the input of other team members? Do they listen first, then seek to understand before making a judgment or providing their own input? Are they truly better as a team than as individuals? And lastly, are we putting the right people in the right seats? So, if you proactively manage these 5 factors, your leadership and management team will have the best chance to succeed and build a satisfying culture at all levels. I'm happy to report that our struggling Company B leadership team was able to recover from their challenges because they got some help to directly assess and address those 2 areas that were holding them back. It will take commitment to sustain that progress through the stress of the busy season, but they're off to a great start. Thanks for spending a few minutes with us today. Hopefully these insights will help you achieve even greater success and fulfillment in your business. And as always, we would love to hear what you thought about this On Principle session.